All right, so you're all set for like a solid gaming session, right? Controller in hand, you're ready to go, and
Yeah.
boom, you get slapped with that cannot connect to PSN message.
Oh, the worst.
Yeah, I mean, super frustrating, and it's been happening a lot lately.
Yeah, a lot of people talking about this outage.
Yeah, so we wanted to take a deep dive today into what we know about it so far.
Yeah.
Um, we found this really interesting podcast called World in Conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a whole episode on this very outage called PSN Down 2025. What's happening and when will it be fixed?
Catchy.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to be kind of digging into today.
Sounds good.
So,
I mean, I think what's really interesting about this outage is just how much it shows
yeah,
how much we rely on these online services for, like, pretty much everything gaming now.
totally.
Not even just like playing online with your friends, but, buying games, storing your progress.
Yeah.
I mean, almost everything.
It's crazy, right?
It is.
So the episode highlighted that the outage actually hit on January 25th
Okay.
at 10:00 a.m. Pacific Standard Time,
Gotcha.
which is pretty rough.
Yeah.
And has been a global issue.
Worldwide.
Yeah, so just imagine millions of players
Yeah.
worldwide just suddenly can't play their game.
Exactly. And, it wasn't even just online play.
Really?
This one was
Wow.
people couldn't even log in to their accounts.
Oh, wow.
They couldn't buy anything on the PlayStation Store.
Oh, no.
Couldn't access cloud saves, so
So even single-player games were affected.
even single-player games.
Right.
It was a huge disruption.
That's wild. It's really, I mean, it makes you think about, we keep talking about this trend in gaming of everything going always online.
Right.
Do we really want to get to a point where even our single-player games
Yeah.
are at the mercy of an internet connection?
You're totally right. It's
Yep.
like you think about it, you're in the middle of this huge boss fight.
Yeah.
You're about to finally beat this guy. Your progress gets backed up to the cloud, and boom, outage hits.
Oh, man.
Talk about a rage quit moment.
Seriously, that's the worst.
Yeah, so what could be behind this whole thing? What's causing this digital blackout?
Right.
So the podcast host kind of laid out a few possibilities.
Okay.
And one of the things they mentioned is server overload.
Yeah. Classic.
Yeah, so, just imagine tons of players all trying to log in at the same time.
Yeah.
It's very possible that the system just couldn't handle it.
Like a digital traffic jam.
Exactly.
Everyone's trying to get on the same highway at the same time.
Totally, yeah.
And then, of course, there's always the scheduled maintenance thing.
Yeah.
Necessary, but annoying.
Yeah.
Like road work on your favorite gaming highway.
Yeah. You got to do it, but it's always a pain.
It is.
And, of course, we can't rule out the possibility of a cyber attack.
Oh, yeah.
Those DDoS attacks are
Those are so common.
so common these days. It's kind of scary.
Yeah. Basically just flooding the system with bogus traffic to try and make it crash.
Just to cause chaos.
Yeah. And then there's always the possibility of just a technical glitch, right?
Right.
Even the most sophisticated technology can just sometimes,
Things happen.
yeah, just go wrong.
It's like, remember that time your Wi-Fi just like randomly cut out
Oh,
for
yeah.
no reason?
It's like that, but on like a global scale.
Exactly. Just a bigger version.
So while we don't have a for sure answer on what's causing it,
Yeah.
there are definitely a bunch of things that it could be.
Right. A lot of possibilities.
So I think one of the first things people want to know when something like this happens is
Yeah.
what's being done to fix it and how long is it going to take?
When can I get back to my game?
Exactly.
Right.
So the podcast really stressed the importance of
Yeah.
sticking to credible sources of information
Oh, for sure.
when something like this happens.
Yeah.
Because there's so much speculation and rumors flying around.
Especially on social media.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a breeding ground for that stuff.
Yeah, so they really emphasize that checking the official PlayStation status page should be your first step.
Absolutely.
Because that's where you're going to get the real information.
Straight from the source.
Yeah. And then they also mention that PlayStation's official Twitter feed is a good place to find real-time updates.
Okay.
But even then,
You still got to be careful.
yeah, you got to be careful
Yeah.
because social media can be,
It's tricky.
yeah, a breeding ground for misinformation too.
You really got to think about, where is this information coming from?
Right.
What's the evidence?
Yeah.
Does this feel sensational or emotionally charged?
Right.
Like, maybe take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, double check it, triple check it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do your research.
It's always good to cross-check with a couple different sources.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point because it's really easy to just get caught up
Right.
in all the frenzy and the,
Totally.
panic of what's happening.
Yeah.
But just taking a moment to step back
Yeah.
and really assess the information critically
Think about it.
can really help us all stay informed and avoid spreading misinformation.
For sure.
The episode also mentioned that it's really important to just be patient.
Oh, yeah.
These things take time to resolve, and as frustrating as it is,
Yeah.
Sony is actively working on a solution.
Yeah, they're on it.
Yeah, and while we wait,
Yeah.
it's a good time to maybe reconnect with some of those offline games.
Oh, good idea.
The
Yeah.
single-player experiences that don't require an internet connection at all.
Like bring out the old cartridges.
Yeah, exactly.
Or dust off those old discs.
Yeah, whatever it is for you.
Yeah, it's like rediscovering a part of gaming that maybe we've forgotten about a little bit.
Yeah.
It's nice to just like focus and immerse yourself in the game
Yeah,
without any distraction.
without all the online stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's a good opportunity.
Take a break.
Yeah,
Recharge.
and just remember that this too shall pass. We'll get through this.
We always do.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here
We have.
in part one of our deep dive into the PSN outage.
Yeah. It's a lot to process.
It is a lot to process. We've looked at the impact,
Yeah.
the potential causes, how to stay informed during this digital disruption.
Absolutely.
But there's still more to explore.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, so in part two, we're going to shift gears and look at the bigger picture.
Oh, what?
We're going to consider the potential long-term consequences of this outage
Interesting.
and what it could mean for the future of gaming.
The future of gaming.
Future of gaming, so stay tuned.
Can't wait. Welcome back to our deep dive into this PSN outage.
Yes.
We've talked about the impact, the potential causes, ways to stay informed, but
Right.
now I think it's time to look at the bigger picture here.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear your take on this because it's hard to see any kind of silver lining when you're in the middle of something like this. So what opportunities could possibly come from such a disruptive event?
Well, I think one thing it really forces us to do is confront just how much we rely on these online services. We've all gotten so used to instant access, seamless connectivity,
Totally.
that it's easy to forget how vulnerable we are
Right.
when those systems fail.
Yeah, we've built our entire gaming world on this digital foundation.
Exactly.
And then suddenly...
And the rug gets pulled out.
Yeah, literally the ground starts shaking.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you think this experience might prompt some players
Oh, absolutely.
to kind of reevaluate their gaming habits?
Yeah,
Maybe we'll see a resurgence of interest in offline games?
I think so.
Or even a push for developers to build more offline functionality into their games?
I could see that happening for sure.
I think a lot of gamers would welcome that.
Definitely.
There's something to be said for the simplicity
Oh, yeah.
and reliability of just offline gaming.
Absolutely.
You pop in the game you play, no internet required.
It just works.
It just works.
Yeah,
What about from Sony's perspective? Do you think this might be an opportunity for them to
I think so.
reassess their infrastructure,
Definitely.
maybe improve their security measures?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
I mean, they might invest in more robust servers, implement stricter security protocols,
Yeah.
even explore new technologies
Yeah.
to make PSN more resilient to future threats.
So this outage could lead to a stronger,
Potentially.
really secure PSN in the long run?
I think that's a very real possibility.
Now that's a silver lining I can get behind.
Right.
That's great.
And it wouldn't be the first time that a major outage
Mm-hmm.
has spurred positive change.
Oh, interesting.
Like, remember that massive internet outage back in 2021
Oh, yeah.
caused by a single misconfigured server?
Yeah, that one really threw the world into chaos.
No, it was a mess.
Yeah.
And it led to a lot of important conversations about
Yeah.
improving internet infrastructure and redundancy measures.
Yeah, it really highlighted just how much we rely on a
Yeah.
stable internet connection for literally everything these days.
It's the backbone of everything.
It really is.
And this outage, I think, also really highlights the importance of clear and timely communication
Yeah,
during a crisis,
that's a really good point.
especially when you have millions of people affected. And
Yeah.
if you're looking for information, they want to know what's going on.
Right, and I know a lot of players were really frustrated by just the lack of information coming from Sony
Yeah.
in those initial hours of the outage.
It was radio silence for a while.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, Is it better to just say something even if you don't have all the answers yet?
I think so.
Yeah.
At least acknowledge the problem.
Yeah.
Let people know that you're working on it.
Exactly. Just some reassurance.
Yeah, exactly.
That you're doing everything you can.
Right, because silence can just breed anxiety and speculation.
Totally. And that can quickly get out of control.
Oh, especially on social media.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Things can go viral so fast.
Facts.
It's important to just get ahead of that.
Be transparent.
Yeah, be upfront.
Manage expectations.
Exactly.
So it sounds like this PSN outage, while it's been a huge inconvenience,
oh, definitely,
it could also have some pretty positive ripple effects.
Yeah, I think so.
Potentially leading to a more resilient PSN, maybe a renewed appreciation for offline gaming.
Absolutely.
And a greater emphasis on transparency and communication from platform providers.
Right. It's all about learning and growing from these experiences.
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember, too, that behind all the technical jargon, the digital infrastructure, there are real people.
Oh, absolutely.
Who are passionate about gaming.
Right.
And who were undoubtedly affected by this.
Yeah. Their gaming sessions were interrupted. Their friendships were put on hold.
Yeah.
Maybe even a few arguments broke out.
Oh, I'm sure.
Over it.
Yeah, it's easy to forget that sometimes.
It is.
We get so caught up in the technical and systemic aspect.
Right. But it's important to remember the human element here.
Absolutely. Gaming is a social experience.
Yeah.
It's about connecting with people.
Sharing those experiences.
That's sad.
And I think this outage, even though it was a negative experience, in a way, it kind of brought people together.
It did.
All the conversations happening online.
Yeah.
Gamers sharing their experiences, offering support, even just finding humor in the situation.
It's like misery loves company, but in a good way.
Yeah. It's more like gamers unite.
Yeah.
In the face of digital adversity.
I love that.
It's inspiring to see how gamers kind of rallied together.
Yeah.
Turned this potentially isolating experience into an opportunity for connection and shared laughter.
For sure.
So we've explored the impact.
We have.
The causes, the potential for positive change. The human element of this outage.
Yeah.
What else is there to consider?
Well, I think this outage also raises some interesting questions about the future of gaming.
And our increasing reliance on cloud-based services.
You're talking about that whole games as a service model.
Exactly.
That's become so prevalent.
Yeah, more and more games are being designed with always online functionality, multiplayer experiences, live service updates, even single-player games that require a constant internet connection.
It's great in theory,
right?
But as we've seen with this outage,
it creates a point of vulnerability.
If the servers go down, your entire gaming world can come crashing down with it.
Exactly. And as we move further into the realm of cloud gaming, where games are streamed directly from servers, this reliance on constant connectivity becomes even more critical.
So this PSN outage could be seen as kind of a canary in the coal mine.
Potentially.
For the future of gaming.
Yeah, I think it's a really important point to consider.
Yeah, food for thought.
As we head into the final part of our deep dive.
I agree, there's still much to unpack as we explore the implications of this outage for the future of gaming. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been talking about this PSN outage, really getting into it.
Really breaking it down.
And now I think it's time to look ahead.
Yeah.
And kind of think about what this all means for the future of gaming.
The future.
Yeah.
I think this outage, while it's been, a huge disruption in the short term, it could actually end up being a catalyst for some pretty big shifts in the gaming industry.
Really? I'm curious, what kind of changes are we talking about?
Well, I think it might make game developers and platform providers kind of rethink their approach to always online functionality.
But you think we might actually see a shift back?
I think it's possible.
Towards having more offline stuff?
Yeah, give people more options.
Yeah. I know a lot of gamers would be happy about that.
Yeah, because, this outage really showed how frustrating it can be to be completely dependent on online services.
Right.
For even single-player games.
Yeah. Imagine not being able to access your game saves. Just because the servers are down?
That's a nightmare.
It really is. It's like your entire game library
is
being held hostage by a bad internet connection.
Exactly. So we might see a push for more hybrid models. Where games offer both online and offline modes.
Okay. So kind of give players the best of both worlds.
Exactly.
That sounds like a good compromise.
More flexibility, more control.
Yeah. And developers could probably reach a wider audience too.
Absolutely.
Because not everybody has, super reliable internet access.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, what about on the security side of things?
I think we're going to see a lot more focus on that.
Yeah, I think so too, because this outage was a big reminder.
It was a wake-up call.
Of how vulnerable all of our gaming data can be.
Exactly. So we might see platform providers really investing in more robust servers, stricter security protocols, maybe even exploring new technologies like blockchain to like decentralized data storage.
Oh, interesting.
And make it harder to attack.
So it's almost like this outage could spark
a
digital arms race.
It's possible.
In terms of security.
Yeah. Companies are going to be competing. To offer the most secure, the most reliable gaming experience.
So we could actually end up in a better place because of this.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I was like,
what's that saying?
Necessity is the mother of invention, or...
Yeah, something like that.
In this case, outage is the mother of innovation.
I like that.
And then, of course, we can't forget about communication.
Right.
The podcast we talked about really stressed how important it is for platform providers to be more transparent and just more proactive with their communication.
Especially during a crisis.
Yeah. You know, even if they don't have all the answers right away.
Right.
Just acknowledging the problem, letting people know that they're working on it.
It goes a long way.
It really does.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of reassurance.
Because that silence can just breed so much anxiety and speculation.
Oh, totally.
Especially online.
So basically, we're potentially looking at better communication. More robust security measures, and maybe even a shift towards having more offline stuff.
It's a lot of potential change.
It's a lot of change. It's crazy to think that all this could stem from this one outage.
It is. It's kind of wild.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But it's also important to remember, I think, that these themes, you know, they extend beyond just the gaming industry.
Oh, for sure.
This whole idea of resilience and redundancy and clear communication.
It applies to everything.
It really does, as we become more and more reliant on online services for literally everything.
Everything's connected now.
It's kind of a wake-up call.
It is.
About the importance of building systems that can withstand these kinds of disruptions.
Absolutely.
Well, I think this deep dive has really given us a lot to think about.
It has.
From the immediate impact of the outage to the potential long-term changes.
Ripple effects.
It's been a fascinating exploration.
It really had.
And it's an exploration that's still unfolding.
It is.
So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on this.
Absolutely.
And seeing how things develop.
Stay tuned.
All right, that's all the time we have for this deep dive into the PSN outage of 2025.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
And as always, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Hit us up on social media.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and happy gaming.
Happy gaming.